Anyone?
Mike, you have a year left on your contract.
Anyone?
Frank, you're on a short-term contract.
We have fun here, don't we? Welcome to Punchlines. I'm Frank Nicotero, longtime comedian, lifelong sports fan, and yeah, I was a little upset there, ladies and gentlemen, a little upset at the loss, so I stormed out a la Coach Tomlin. Very upset, but I don't think I'm as upset as Michael Irvin was at the Cowboys' loss this weekend. Ryan, did you see Michael Irvin losing it?
Absolutely.
Right.
Losing his mind. Yeah.
He's losing his mind. All right. Yeah, so go ahead, show Michael Irvin. This is Michael Irvin upset.
They handed it to me. Put my damn championship on the table. That's all we ask. Put your damn championship on the table, and you couldn't do it.
On the table.
Oh, our director Ann went, wow, he was really upset. Yeah, look, my team lasted longer than the Browns and the Cowboys because of a delayed game. That's all I like. I can say that to my friend. We were in the playoffs longer than the Browns and the Cowboys. Yeah, that's the Cowboys. Cowboys are the biggest disappointment. Don't you say the Cowboys?
Yeah.
More so than Philly. Even though Philly was 10-1 at one point and go 1-6. I mean, the Cowboys, again, number 2 seed, schedule's laid out for you to make it to the NFC Championship, and you get trounced by Green Bay.
Sucks.
Yep.
That made it worse.
Yeah, and then the Tomlin, I had about 300 people send me the Tomlin clip, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, we got to do that. We got to do something on the cold open. So thank you, Ryan and Ann, for a little piece there, and I just keep walking. So we're here for the long haul, ladies and gentlemen, here on Punchlines. Don't you worry. On the show today, which will become a regular Tuesday thing, his appearance on this show, but more importantly, he will be hosting Sports by the Book on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, where we're happy to have Matt Neverett.
Only this week.
Only this week.
Yes.
And then it goes to Monday, Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going forward, it's Monday, Tuesdays.
They're throwing a lot at me, ladies and gentlemen, with schedules. They know that I have a hard time with the other 2 shows scheduled. But anyway, Matt Neverett will be here. We're excited for Matt to be a part of the family here. He already has been. You've seen him producing. You've seen him as a guest on the show. He does play-by-play occasionally for UNLV. He works at the stadium with the Aviators. So he's a perfect fit here for Sports by the Book.
Yep. He does the color commentating over there at the ballpark.
Is that right? He does the color. Oh, I thought he did play-by-play.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Russ Langer that does the play-by-play. He's
Russ.
Been in the business for a very long time down here. So.
Well, during baseball season, we got to get Russ to come in or talk to us on the show, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could try it.
I'm excited. So when does their season start? Like March or April, right?
Yeah, seasons will start at the very end of March.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're affiliated with the Oakland A's, the Las Vegas Aviators.
Yep.
And is it true that they might have more talent than the Oakland A's currently on their roster?
Yeah. I mean, all the good players that the Aviators get called up, and then the A's ruin them.
Then the A's ruin them and then ship them off, and they're never to be heard again. Now, anyway, so Matt Neverett will be here shortly. Today is January 16th, 2024. For all you Seinfelds, including Chris Andrews, our sportsbook director here at the South Point, today is National Nothing Day. National Nothing. So do we have anything for that? We have nothing.
No, we have nothing.
Because it's National Nothing Day. Yeah. Each year on January 16th, people across the nation recognize National Nothing Day. The observance was created as a day to provide Americans with one national day when they can just sit without celebrating, observing, or honoring anything. By the way, we don't need something every day. I mean, we like to look at it once in a while and mention a lot of the funny stuff. Yesterday was National Hat Day. Today's National Nothing Day. National Nothing Day. All right, so if anyone asks you, hey, what are your plans today? You say nothing. It's just National Nothing Day. But it's National Nothing Day, Matt. Did you know that? Matt Neverett's walking into the studio now. He will be on shortly. Oh, he's wearing a sport coat. Wow. Wow, someone gets a new gig, they dress all up. Look at that. So anyway, happy National Nothing Day to everybody. Today is January 16th, 2024. This is episode number 68. 68th episode of the show. It's a Jaromir Jagr episode right there. But we thought number 16 because we didn't do this before. So January 16th, there's a lot of great athletes of war number 16. We haven't done a collage in a while, our regular thing. So let's take a look at what we got. These are famous athletes at war number 16. I imagine I'm going to see Joe Montana in there. And of course, you got Joe Montana in the bottom right. That's always the most important one.
Yep.
The one right by the graphic. Joe Montana, 4 Super Bowls, never threw an interception. I don't know how many. I think it's like 12 touchdowns, no picks. You want to talk about a money player? A lot of people say if you have one game to win, who's your quarterback in the Super Bowl? You take Brady. You got to remember, Brady lost.
7 of them.
He's lost 3.
Yeah, but he's got 7.
If 7, 6 or 7. He has 7.
He
Yeah,
has
that's
7.
right. He has 7. He did lose a couple though.
Yeah.
To the Giants.
Yep.
Montana was money though. All right, so what else? Whitey Ford's in there.
Yes, he is.
Whitey Ford, the World Series MVP, I think in 1961.
Like how you're going
Bob
backwards.
Lanier. Wow, Bob Lanier was like an old player, which means he's probably 20 years younger than I am right now. When I was a kid, Bob Lanier. Dwight Gooden, Doc Gooden. You want to talk about a Hall of Fame career derailed by drugs, unfortunately. That's Dwight Gooden. Dwight Gooden, when he was 19, won the Cy Young or something like that. He had like 24 wins. His ERA was under 2. He was one of the best, man. And then the party life. You know, the 80s Mets, Ryan, they won the World Series in 1986. They lost to the Dodgers in 88 when they were heavy favorites. Dodgers going to win the World Series, Kirk Gibson, all that. The Mets should have won 2 or 3 World Series. They had so much talent, but Davey Johnson, the manager, turned a blind eye to the partying. It's like, as long as they win, go ahead. David Cohn, Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, all those guys doing a lot of illegal drugs. It was the 80s. Take a guess which one. All right, who else do we have up there? Jared Goff. Got to give Goff his props, man. Did someone just sniff back there? What was it? Was that ironic, or who did that?
No, I did that intentionally, yeah.
Do you have the sniffles, or were you alluding to?
I did it. Yeah.
Okay. We've all been sick here, but I don't know if you did the sniffles or something else, that would actually be comedic. It was funny. Jared Goff. Good for Jared Goff. He got run out of L.A., sent to Detroit, almost like sent to exile. But, hey, he's in the playoffs still, and that's the team I want to win. I'm rooting for. Who are you rooting for to win the Super Bowl?
I mean, I lost my Browns future, so I still have the one on the Ravens, but I think the easiest path right now is for the Niners, and that's most of my family's, my mom's side's a Niner fan, so.
Well, I don't want to see the Niners win. Yeah. Then they'd have 6, and they'd be tied with the Patriots, and I don't want to see that. But, I mean, they're a likable team. I would root for them, but I'm rooting for the Lions, and in the AFC, I don't like anybody. Buffalo. I'd root for Buffalo. They deserve it. And, you know, I just want them to win one so everyone can just shut up.
Do they deserve it?
They've been through a lot.
They got a lot of help yesterday.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
A lot of help yesterday.
They got
from
an
the
amazing
Zebras.
amount of help.
That was really difficult.
No, but I mean, the city of Buffalo, they've never had a championship. They kind of need one. That's what I'm saying. They lost 4 Super Bowls in a row in the 90s.
They might have deserved that. Yeah, losing 4 in a row.
All right, Ryan said, screw the Bills. Screw the Bills.
No, I was very big on Josh Allen a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then the year after, I was like, no, he's going to win MVP now. He's going to win MVP, and he hasn't. And then it's like, well,
all right.
When will he?
Well, all right, we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds. I would like to see the Lions and Bills because then you'd be guaranteed whoever wins has never won a Super Bowl. So that would be kind of cool. A lot of people are rooting for the Texans. Texans are the sexy pick. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Got a big task on their hands this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to Baltimore. Just anybody but the Ravens. That's my slogan for the Super Bowl. Anybody but Baltimore.
All right.
Last but not least, you had Pau Gasol up there. Pau Gasol, who the Lakers robbed from, I think, Charlotte at the time or Memphis, one of those teams. But I think Jerry West, I think at the time, Laker great Jerry West, who's the logo of the NBA, I think he was consulting with that team and shipped him to the Lakers. So I think Jerry West behind the scenes kind of had a hand in that. Like, you know, let's give the Lakers this guy who will help them win, 3-4 titles. So Pau Gasol, good line. Did I miss anyone on there? I think Len Dawson. Boy, Len Dawson, when I was a kid, do you still watch Inside the NFL? Do you ever watch that show? It's on the CW now. It was on when I was a kid. That's the only place we got highlights on HBO every week that even have graphics, like 18 carries for 140 yards. That's where I memorized all my numbers, was watching HBO's Inside the NFL, and Nick Bonacani and Len Dawson were the hosts of that program, and it ran for years, and that was, man, they did it on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays was the premiere episode. at 8 o'clock, and that was my favorite show to watch because I got to see all the highlights. It was before ESPN. So, yeah, good one. Good one, Jared. We got them all. Yeah.
Yep. I like how you went backwards. You went right to left instead
I
of
did.
left to right. Yeah.
I threw you a curveball today. Usually I go kind of clockwise and end with I had to go Joe Montana first. Got to give Joe. Although I hear Joe's very salty now that he's retired. He's not
Doesn't have as much attention on him.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. That's why I was surprised
spiteful.
he did that Guinness ad. Have you seen the Guinness commercial where he sits down, right? He sits at the TV and this young kid's like, he's like, oh, this is smooth beer. And he's like, oh yeah, did you play ball? He's like, what'd you play? Like tennis? And he goes, yeah, something like that. Like they just made this young kid look stupid, but he probably hated doing that.
I do have a Joe Montana autograph.
You do? Where'd you get that?
The same family that got me the
Oh,
Jerry
nice.
Rice ball. Yeah, it's on a picture of him with the Chiefs, though.
That is a good one. Matt, don't get comfortable. Let's bring Matt in now. Matt, we're going to bring in, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring Matt Neverett in. Matt Neverett has been here. He's been behind the glass, as we call it. He's been working on a lot of stuff. There's Matt coming in. Sport, you look good today, man.
I got to pretend to be fancy,
Whoa,
you know.
look at that. You got a fresh haircut, too?
I got them all cut.
Got them all cut. This guy. See, that's kind of jokes you're going to get on Sports by the Book, ladies and gentlemen. Matt has been here. He sat in the producer chair when Ryan was out of town visiting Daniel Bellinger, who actually was on the show yesterday.
I saw that. He was a great get.
He was great, man. That was
awesome.
great that Ryan got him in. He was a nice guy. We got to see his first. He got to tell that story. Alex had the good question about his first touchdown. Alex gave out a couple winners last night, by the way. She pushed, I think, on the hockey one.
Yep.
But
the
she won on
under.
Tampa. We all had
Yeah,
Tampa.
pushed at 6.
Anyway, Matt, big announcement. We're very excited to announce that you are now part of the crew here, the cast,
The
I
cast,
should say.
yeah. I've already been part of the crew. Now I'm coming on the other side of the
You
glass.
are, man. So starting today, you will be hosting sports. By the way, we got to give Jeff Parles a day off, and the show is expanding to 7 days. We're still doing 5 on this, but 7 days on Sports by the Book. You're going to be doing Tuesdays, Wednesdays this week. You're going to be doing Mondays and Tuesdays.
Mondays, Tuesdays, but Tuesdays, Wednesdays this week.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to beg Jeff to take a couple of days off.
I know. You got to let Jeff's head cool. He's got all those numbers going through his head and all those names and every nickname of basketball teams. So Jeff is up, but Matt will be here. You'll be here today at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, ready to go, and lots of recap, lots to look forward to. That was a weird weekend in the NFL.
Well, it wasn't. By the way, I was looking at the scores. I believe 5 out of 6 games went over, and I think that was last year too, that 5 out of 6 games went over the total. The only one under was KC Miami, which it was negative 50 degrees with the wind chill. So was it?
Well, last night ended up not going over, right?
Oh, it did. I thought. What was the final last night?
Because we had it at 39 on the parlay because we teased it down.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
That's
maybe
what
I'm
it
getting
was.
confused. What was the final? I turned the game off like
I think it ended 42.
No,
32-9.
32-9.
Yeah, so 41.
I think it went over.
So wasn't over under
No, maybe it didn't.
43?
Well, you know what? If you're watching the show and you're wondering, you probably know because if you either had a winner or you did.
I think the over-under was 43.
Hey, that's why we do what we do, Frank,
That's
right?
right.
We're not. When I came on last week, we were talking about college basketball. I said I'm not a math guy by any stretch, but I am a numbers guy. So there
Right.
is a difference.
There is there is a difference.
Very much.
And you'll have a couple picks for us later on in the show?
Yeah, ready to go.
All right, but first, Frank's Fast Takes. I don't know. We don't know what we're doing this year on those. Frank's Fast Take. We have a game that I created just for you, Matt.
I'm ready.
Last night. Now, a lot of people, this is a lot of events that happen today, special birthdays. Usually it's called On This Day in Sports, but today we're playing a game instead of multiple choice questions. It's multiple choice.
I would
So it's
expect
for you.
nothing less from you.
It's for you, Matt. These are all things that happened today. We're going to start off with one that's going to make Ryan happy. Ryan, he's a big Chicago Bulls fan, Chicago sports fan. So, on this day in 1993, Michael Jordan scored 64 points in the Bulls' 128-124 loss to the Magic. Orlando rookie center Shaquille O'Neal finished the game with 29 and 24. 29 points, 24 boards in his rookie year.
And 5 blocks.
And 5 blocks. Yeah, I mean, he was a monster right away. By the way, there was always that thing that Shaquille O'Neal was the MVP every year he was in the league. You know, but they only gave it to him like, I don't know, a handful, 3 or 4. But every year it was like Shaq and everyone else. He was unstoppable.
And there was not a lot of teams at that point that had run their offense predominantly through their big man.
Right.
So he kind of changed it. And, of course, we're seeing the other side of that coin now with the,
Yeah.
the advanced guard play. But, yeah, Shaq really changed the
Oh, my
way that
God.
a lot of big men played offensively.
He was unstoppable under the hoop. He was just big. He was just big, but he was also just strong. And he just pushed people. I remember sitting under the hoop at a game. It was a Laker game a long time ago. And just the ease of him bumping other big guys. Like when he wanted in, it was just like a little, and the guy would, oh my God.
He was so big, he made big guys look not so big.
He did. He was unbelievable.
What do you think of the Magic retiring his number, by the way?
I saw that. This is the 4th team or 3rd or 4th. The Lakers have retired his number. And I think the Suns or someone else did.
One of the random teams he
Or
played
one of
for
the,
at the end.
by the way, they also showed that he played for the Celtics. I forgot Shaquille O'Neal played briefly for the Celtics.
He wore number 36 too. It just
Is that
looked
what he wore?
weird.
Got a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
rainbow jersey.
Yeah, that's I
combination.
love that
Yeah.
graphic where you can just see the different teams he played for, and it makes like a full rainbow
Yeah.
of colors.
Yeah, he played for a lot more teams than you'd think. So anyway, yeah, I don't know the Magic. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he was a rookie there. He was there for a handful of years
And he
before the
completely
Lakers.
changed the scope and the direction of that franchise almost single-handedly over a couple of years. They got Tracy McGrady. Penny Hardaway was kind of in that same era, but he
Anthony.
he turned them from a nobody
Perennial
to
doormat, yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best team ever, but somebody.
Yeah, no, yeah, sure. Retire his number. Yeah. What did he wear? 32 or 34 there?
He was 32 there. I
Was he
believe.
32
Yeah,
there?
he was 32
Okay.
in Orlando, yeah.
All right. So anyway, here's your question, Matt. We could show you highlights of that game of Jordan scoring 64, or would you rather see a clip of Michael Jordan walking around a foreign country with locals heckling him?
Oh, I'd much rather see that.
Okay, so here we go.
Let's see it.
That's good because we don't have the rights to that one. So here we go. Matt, there it is. There was your this or that. You want to see video? No, we've all seen Jordan score.
Is that Greece? Where,
We
where
don't
is
know.
he?
Well, I'm not going to tell you the country quite yet,
Okay.
but you're warm. All right, but here's your multiple question. So he's walking on the streets. What noise is being shouted at him? What's audible on the clip? Are they yelling, "Where is Scottie Pippen and your son?"
That's ice cold.
That's ice cold. LeBron is better than you, or are they making goat noises?
I'm going to go C just because I think that's probably the funniest of the three, and knowing you, that's probably where you went. There we
There you
go.
go. They're making goat noises at him. Goat, greatest of all time. So this was in Italy, actually. That's in Italy. So Jordan's just trying to watch. He's just trying to watch and check out some scenes. So I think it's hysterical that maybe they can't with the language barrier, right? You can't yell, "My MJ, I love you, MJ. You're the best in the hoops. You put the ball in the hoop, the alley hoop." They can't do that, and I'm allowed to do that very racist Italian stereotype because I'm Italian. Vinny, is that okay? Vinny says it's okay. So anyway, yeah, he's the goat, I guess. So there you go. You can make goat noises.
Yeah, that goes in any language.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the real Rosetta Stone. It's just goat noises.
When you can do noises and you're the goat.
Yeah.
Ryan, what noises would they chant at you when you're walking through Italy?
Ooh.
Still bad.
Green Bay sucks. They'd probably just say Green Bay so it could be like, sucks.
Yeah, we can go with that.
Anyway, 64 points in a game. We talked about this a couple weeks ago when Kobe had 61 through three quarters. Was it 61? I was at that game. So I actually saw, by the way, I was in the booth at half court, the Warner Brothers booth
Ooh.
that I'd put tickets in for when I was doing that show. And they'd come through and I got that and went to the game with some friends. So I got to see Kobe Bryant score 61. He outscored the Grizzlies in that game. They only had 60 points after three.
Mavericks.
Mavericks. It was Mavericks.
Oh, my God.
61. It was Kobe 61, Mavericks 60. And then he didn't play the fourth quarter because we're all like, okay, we're going to witness history. But they were up by like 30 or 40 points. So Phil Jackson sat him down and we were like, boo, bah, boo, bah, boo. But
That just wouldn't happen nowadays with the way the game is played.
oh, man. Yeah. If he could have, I mean, he would have had 80. I mean, it would have been nice to see him maybe break his 81, which he later got, which became his record, of course.
Thanks, Jalen Rose.
Yeah. Okay. And happy birthday today to Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco had a birthday party, by the way. He sent me a birthday invitation, but it was intercepted. Hold for applause and laughter.
I love the picture of him looking sad there on the left. That's a great microcosm of how that game went.
But again, I got to give it to Jeff Parles. He said the game against Texans feels like this is a game Flacco throws 2, 3, 4 picks.
And credit to Jeff. He
Yeah.
was on pretty much every game this weekend.
Jeff was on. That's why we had to give him a couple days off. His head hurts.
Yeah, he's got to go spend all of his winning.
Yeah, he had Green Bay. He was all over Green Bay. Alex and I are like, are you kidding? Dallas at home? There ain't no. They're going to roll. 10 points is nothing. Or whatever. Was it 10? It was 7. It was 7. Whatever it was never a game. This is just like it was on Thanksgiving when Green Bay came out and stomped Detroit.
And we'll talk about that one later on Sports by the Book. That's called a tease, by the way.
It's a tease, ladies and gentlemen.
But the question that everybody's asking and that we'll ask later is, do you give more credit to the Packers or do you say that game was the Cowboys laying an egg? And I think there's something to be said for both.
There's something to be said for both. But, even like Greg Olson, who I don't know if I love Greg Olson. I'll admit, I do like Tony Romo. Romo's becoming a little bit of a caricature of himself as a color guy. I really liked him. We all liked that he could call a play and read a play better than any color guy. I still do like Romo. I do.
I think he gets a lot of undue hate.
Yeah, he does. I think he's great. I also like Joe Buck. Joe Buck. I like Joe Buck. I like Collinsworth. I don't need Collinsworth really, but I don't hate him. There's very few guys I hate. But but Greg Olson was all over Dallas in the first quarter. He's going, Dak, look, something's wrong with Dak. Something's wrong with CD Lamb. they look lost. Like they knew, like it was like readable and probably palpable in the stadium that the fans were like, oh God, here we go again.
Well, and especially someone like that has been in situations like that, kind of knows what to look for. I think Greg Olsen does a great job. I think him and Kevin Burkhardt is a phenomenal.
I like Burkhardt a lot.
That's why they got the Super Bowl last year. And
Yeah.
I think that was a big test. I remember reading an article right after the Super Bowl where it talked about how they prepared and just how nervous they both were because it was the biggest game for both of them. You know, you get Buck, you got Al Michaels, you got the big names. They've done 100 Super Bowls each.
Yeah, true.
But for Burkhardt and Olsen, for their first Super Bowl, they scored a 10. They were phenomenal
They
last
were
year
good.
in the Super
That's
Bowl.
true. I like you know whose voice. I like Kevin Harlan. I like Kevin Harlan a lot. I love his voice. I think he's become a legend from when the guys would run out on the field and he does the play-by-play of them getting hit.
Some idiots running on the 40.
Kevin, he's in. Kevin Harlan's great. And I just wish the NFL, if there's any way, I know it'll never end, just get me Gus Johnson. Get me Gus doing every sporting event. I'm a fan of Gus.
Down the sideline.
I mean, he's the. It could be like a play in the second quarter that's not even. That I love his excitement. I love his enthusiasm. And come on, cold-blooded is still the best call. Was it UConn?
Oh, yeah.
Cold-blooded. I mean, he's the best. I wish he would do. He does Big Ten football, right? He does college football.
He does
And
Fox, yeah.
Fox. I watch games just to hear him call the game.
He's awesome. And there aren't very many play-by-play announcers that people say that about.
Exactly. When I was a kid,
especially not me.
Right. Exactly. When I was a kid, I loved Dick Enberg. I loved Enberg, and I wrote 2 fan letters in my life. One to Dick Enberg and one to Ginger Lynn. No, that's a joke. She was a porn star in the 80s. No, who was Billy Crystal. I wrote 2 letters. Billy Crystal and Dick Enberg. Heard back from neither. But I put a lot of time into these and wrote them out by hand. Yeah, never heard back from either one. But I love Dick Enberg. So yeah, when I was a kid, you wanted Charlie Jones, Vern Lundquist. You want these guys calling a game.
One of my favorites that was kind of passed down to me through my dad was Keith Jackson.
Oh, Keith.
Oh, baby, we got a gully washer.
Keith Jackson. Yeah, college football was Keith Jackson.
He was awesome.
Hey, Frank,
Yes.
do you think do young people do fan letters? Because I did fan letters all the time as a kid.
Do young people do fan letters?
You know, now probably not.
Well,
like
it's all
Because
tweets
you
now.
tweet
It's all just
that's
Twitter
all.
now,
You
yeah.
just slide into their DMs, as you kids say, and get Riz and woke and lit. Holler. I did write. Who did you write a fan letter to, Ann? Davy Jones.
Oh no, I was obsessed. Because I was just a TV fan. So
Right.
anyone.
Give us a name. Keith
Oprah
Oprah
Winfrey.
Winfrey.
Stephanie Zimbalist from Remington.
Remington Steele. Yeah.
And Pierce Brosnan as well.
Yes.
But no, like hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Like, I just did that, and I loved when I got them back.
Yeah, you'd get like a form letter, but sometimes they'd even throw in a little.
The picture, the autographed picture.
Yeah.
Love
The
that
signature and the
stuff.
picture is all you really
That's
are
all you
asking
wanted.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, a couple of people. I mean, I remember I was in a couple fan clubs when I was a kid, but that wasn't the same as me sitting down and writing out letters. And I probably my dad probably went, "Yeah, I'll make sure Dick Enberg gets this." No, but I don't know. But Billy Crystal really hurt me because I thought Billy Crystal would send one. I sent it to like SNL or
People
something.
don't do fan clubs anymore.
Yeah,
The only one that I was ever in, and I'm kind of in that weird in between age. I'll be 30 coming up.
Yeah.
I was in the Linkin Park fan club. My absolute all-time favorite band
Yeah.
as a kid. Still one of my all-time
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah.
But that was back when you joined the
Chester.
fan club. I begged my mom for
Yeah.
$40 to join it, and they would send CDs and wristbands and all kinds of posters and all kinds of stuff. It was mostly just about the free swag.
Yeah, exactly. I just remembered something. My sister and I, Gina and her husband at the time, we would go out to this little bar, and when I would go home for Christmas, and I would we'd go out and we'd have some drinks, and then I'd go out and meet friends. But there were a couple songs we'd always listen to on the way home from the bar. And so for Christmas that year, my sister got me a membership into this singer's fan club, and I got pictures, color pictures, got her pictures, and I got a plastic business card that I carried in my wallet, and I would just use it whenever I needed it. But I don't want to tell you.
Well, you have to. You're this deep into the story.
Leanne Rhymes. I was in the Leanne Rhymes fan club, ladies and gentlemen.
What's wrong with that?
I know. It was. We would sing. Guess. Guess. She had this song that we'd listen to all liquored up and stuff. And so I had a Leanne Rhymes fan club card. I still have it somewhere, but it was the best. And I had a friend of mine told me he knew her, and he told her that I had one, and she thought it was hysterical. So, yeah, I was a member of the Leanne Rhymes fan club.
That's the best pickup line you could think of.
Yeah, well, I'd pull out the card at bars and be like, I'm going to put it on my Leanne Rhymes fan club. And the bartender would be like, yeah, very funny. But yeah, it's somewhere. Gold card. So anyway, we're talking about Joe Flacco's birthday. Here's your second multiple choice question. How many NFL teams has Joe Flacco suited up for? Is it A, 4, B5 or C6. So let's hear the math out loud.
So suited up for
Is
leads
the
me
phrasing.
to believe there was a team in there that he suited up.
He
but didn't
suited
play.
up for. This was Ryan's clarification on this. He caught my mistake
All
last
right,
night.
so we know Ravens, we know Browns, we know Jets. I'm going to say 5 just because I think it's 4.
Ryan, tell him the answer.
It is 5.
He suited up for 6, though. Didn't he? Wasn't it 6?
No, you just had the Jets twice.
Okay. I screwed up.
That's
Okay,
just
it's
one
5.
team, yeah.
What did you say?
I thought it would be 4, so I naturally picked 5 because I don't trust myself on that.
Can we see that graphic one more time, please, Ann? Thank you. I appreciate it. He was, so Ravens, Broncos, Jets, Eagles. I do not remember him on the Eagles.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, that's the one you clarified,
Yeah,
right?
so
Ryan?
he got traded, or he got cut from the Jets the first time. The Eagles picked him up for the preseason. Then they were going to waive him, but ended up trading him back to New York with the Jets.
Yeah.
And then he got picked up by the
Wow.
Browns.
Yeah. So I didn't remember that. So anyway, and the Browns, of course. Now let's talk about his original team, the Baltimore Ravens.
Your favorite?
My favorite. What's the line on the game? Baltimore, is it? It's like 10?
It's 10.
It's 10. So you got Baltimore.
9.
They've been sitting there on their bye week. Technically, they've been sitting still for 2 or 3 weeks because against the
Oh, yeah.
Steelers, Lamar sat. They sat all their good players. Zay Flowers sat too. So here they are, 13-3. But the Texans, with, by the way, the best quarterback. C.J. Stroud has looked phenomenal.
Not only has he been
9.5.
the best, he's the youngest to win a playoff game ever. He's 22 years old, barely.
Unbelievable.
He's also the highest drafted of any quarterback that's left.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. And also the thing I find incredible is the first quarterback to lead the league in passing rating, I think. The only other 2 guys to do it are Brady and Montana. And Stroud did it in his first year.
Well, because those two are kind of opposites. One is kind of a volume stat with yards, and one is kind of an efficiency stat with rating.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job of kind of creating the offense around his strengths.
Yeah.
And while he is mobile, they really didn't have him move out of the pocket a lot. He's a pocket passer.
He's been unbelievable. And I thought, the pressure against Cleveland, and Cleveland didn't even show up. And by the way, Defensive Player of the Year, don't even give me Myles Garrett. You know I'm rooting for anybody but Myles Garrett. The guy in his last 3 games, I think, had no sacks. He had maybe 3 tackles for a loss in his last 3 or 4 games. He disappeared in the playoffs.
Somewhat related, maybe
and of course,
a little
the
bit
voting's
different.
already done, but go ahead.
I thought it was really interesting, and there was everybody talking about during that Dallas Packer game, Micah Parsons finally got a holding call on an offensive lineman against him, and they said that was his first in 11 games. How remarkable is that he hadn't gotten one in the previous
That's
10
amazing.
games? Because he is, in my eyes, the number 1 quickest first step off the ball defensively.
Unbelievable.
You're telling me that over a 10-game stretch, no tackle had a little slip just to try to catch up in positioning? I mean, there's something to be said there.
If there's one thing they look at, they have to look at the officiating in general, but the holding calls. I mean, you could see T.J. Watt. I'm not going back to Pittsburgh as much, but T.J. Watt was held on every play in some games.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems that the marquee pass rushers are being held quite a bit.
They're taking defense out of the game.
They are. The
Offense has so much freedom to do what they want.
Yeah.
The fact that Josh Allen could fake slide and then gets the call of when he is sliding and he takes a shot, doesn't take a shot to the head, but he gets that call.
Yep.
Justin Fields didn't get a single call all year.
Yeah.
What quarterbacks are you going to protect, and which ones are you not going to protect?
The names.
You need to
exactly.
like.
That's the way the league. And by the way, that slide rule is because of Kenny Pickett at Pitt. In the one bowl game, he literally is almost halfway down, and then he stayed erect, and then he walked and he ran in for like 30 yards.
Yep.
And that was kind of when they went, okay, if you start a slide, the play's over.
Oh, remember, we're going back to Joe Flacco. Remember a couple of years ago when he was on the Ravens and Kiko Alonso took his head off? And
I saw the play last night when I was looking at Joe Flacco clips. That was the play.
Joe Flacco just always has funny instances when he's sliding and gets tackled. Whoever it was on the Texans that did a full breakdance move on his head. I've seen that so many times, edited
so
and
many
reversed
memes.
and put to music. It's he's a very memeable guy, by the way.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco.
And he comes back. He plays again next year somewhere, right?
Has to.
He has to. I mean, he
earned it this year.
It's his birthday today. What is he? 38 or 39?
39.
He's 39 years old. But I mean, you need those guys. You need him. He'll be on some team, maybe even Cleveland, right? I mean, although they have 3 quarterbacks, they got your buddy DTR.
Yep.
And of course, Deshaun Watson's probably going to start.
All that money,
they mortgaged their entire future on Deshaun Watson, so he's got to start. Yeah.
It's so Browns being the Browns, though, that game. I mean, as a enemy of the Browns, I enjoyed watching the Texans beat the crap out of them. And I don't know. Do you think the Texans have a shot? 10 points is a lot of points. I'll take the Texans with 10. Baltimore probably wins that
So
game.
it's 9.5 now.
9.5. Okay, well, there you go.
9.5.
I'm seeing 9.5. A lot of places, it's at 9.5 right behind us. I'm seeing 9 at most other places. So the line is moving towards Houston, and I think they're getting the respect they deserve.
They got none to lose.
Not enough people are talking about it. Is this the greatest single season turnaround in the history of the league?
It's up there, man.
From 2 wins last year to dominating a playoff game this year?
And the Carolina Panthers just sitting at home shaking their heads like, damn it. Tepper's throwing drinks on people. We got this little elf for quarterback, and look at the Texans.
If only there was a way pre-draft that they could have known that Bryce Young was short. Yeah. If only there was a way.
If they only did some sort of measuring and checking of these guys at the combine that lasts forever.
And not that it is easy, because it is the hardest thing to do in sport is turn around an NFL franchise in such a short time, but the Texans have made it look easy.
Especially because they were laughed out of the league when they got rid of Deshaun and Bill O'Brien. And then Hopkins, they traded him away. They got rid of everybody. But the NFL is where you can turn it around, usually not in 1 year, but quickly. The parity with the salary cap. So, I mean, it's hard not to root for the Texans. Of course, I'm rooting for the Texans this weekend. I mean, they put a beat down on Pittsburgh this year. So I'm rooting. I'll root for the Texans as the AFC rep, if not Buffalo. I'm tired of Kansas City. Get Kansas City out of there.
Give somebody else a chance.
Give somebody else a chance. I want to see Mahomes on the road in a playoff game. I think we're all excited to see that.
That would be that's going to be really interesting. The Chiefs have won 15 straight home playoff games. So if there is a kryptonite for Kansas City in the playoffs, it's going on the road. Although it's really not that much of a kryptonite.
And what do we have the line as in that game right now? Buffalo and Kansas City.
Buffalo 2.5.
2.5. It's I was 3. I think I saw 26. It open at 3. Right, and that's the home field advantage. So they're saying they're pretty equal. The weather's going to be, I think, in the teens. I think it's another football game in January in Buffalo.
A bunch.
What's that?
Said it's toggling a bunch. 3, 2.5.
Okay,
3,
yeah.
2.5.
I mean, I don't know. Is it Buffalo's year to get by KC? I don't know. I don't know. I think it is. I mean, Kansas City. I don't know.
Although this is as good a defense as Kansas City has ever had. Just ask Chris Rose.
I'm sorry. I just completely missed my. I just the hole was here.
It's those stupid lids. Just give me a straw.
I don't like straws.
You don't like,
I like
plastic or paper?
No, any straw.
Any.
I'm a real man. I like the ice against my lips. All right. So anyway, now this is like Robert Hayes in Airplane. I had a drinking problem. It just spilled.
First time?
Good thing I'm wearing white. Very good. All right. So anyway, back to what you were saying about Mahomes and the KC defense. Yeah, it's their best defense. Chris Jones, they look good, but I like Buffalo.
You saw what Chris Rose said with Maurice Jones-Drew, right, after that game?
Oh, yeah, the D. Yeah, exactly.
You could tell that was not scripted because of Maurice Jones-Drew's reaction, because he started to talk.
Yeah.
He started, and then
If you don't know what he saw, Chris Rose alluded. I'm sure Ryan knows. It was he used the little said what did he say? We can say it.
Is Kansas City gonna be able to ride the D all the way?
See, I knew what the quote was. I just wanted Ryan to say it.
Sometimes it's better to hear him say it.
Yeah, it's just bad. I mean, it comes out of him. It's funny. So I don't know. I like Buffalo at home in that game. Again, the
phrasing is crazy. The phrasing is crazy.
Phrasing. Yeah. All right, we'll move on. Let's get to the Cowboys. We'll talk about the Dallas Cowboys and their collapse with Matt. But here's his next Mattable question. We'll get to it. First of all, it's the Cowboys today on January 16th, 1972. They won their first Super Bowl, which probably feels very, very long ago to a lot of fans. But they were the first Super Bowl champs. There they are. They beat the Dolphins. And again, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I believe it was Jim O'Brien kicked the game-winning field goal for the Colts. This was like a game-winning field goal, and people don't talk about this one, maybe because it happened so long ago. But the Doomsday defense held Miami without a touchdown, making them the only team in the 20th century to accomplish such a feat. Is that right? Wait, the Steelers beat the Vikings 16-6, didn't they? I don't think that's.
Maybe
I don't think that's
touchdown and a missed extra point. Multiple ways to get to 6.
Oh,
Frank.
maybe. Yeah, you're right. Okay, sorry.
That was back when they were kicking it straight on with a shoe that was flat in the front.
Jan Stenerud and Tom. That always puzzled me. The longest field goal in history when we were kids, Tom Dempsey.
Yeah.
Guy named Tom Dempsey for the New Orleans Saints kicked a 63-yard field goal. 63-yard field goal, which now is like almost, you're not shocked anymore.
Justin Tucker's got 66, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Elam or the thin air, you got guys and Matt Prater. But anyway, Tom Dempsey had half a foot, and you're like, oh, you're making that. No, he had half a foot. He had a flat shoe that he wore, and he kicked a 63-yard field goal. I can see it going over the goalposts in the NFL highlights that they showed all the time. Anyway, the Dolphins recovered. The Dolphins went on to recover and win the next 2 Super Bowls. They went undefeated the following season. Here is your multiple question on that Super Bowl, though. This is true. The Dolphins lost the game. And you can look at the screen right there. Super Bowl VI is also notable for featuring a play specifically drawn up by whom? Is it A, Vince Lombardi, B, Richard Nixon, or C, Elvis Presley? They knew Don Shula, and they sent him a play to run in the Super Bowl, and Don Shula ran it. I think it was a down-and-in pass to Paul Warfield, and Shula called this play toward the end of the first quarter.
So this would have been what, 1971?
It was January 16th, 1972.
72. Okay, so the 71-72 season. I'm going to go with Nixon.
The correct answer is Richard Nixon. Very good. Yeah. Is that not crazy? So Richard Nixon called this play, and I don't know, maybe Landry, maybe he had some tax issues. He's like, I don't want to be audited by the IRS. I'm going to run this play for Richard Nixon. And then after the game, Tom Landry received a congratulatory phone call from Nixon. Landry told reporters that Nixon praised them for playing an almost perfect game, but he didn't bring up the trick play. And you told me something interesting before the show.
It was actually the second time that Nixon did it in that postseason. So he did it for the Super Bowl with Shula against the Niners, and then he did it with the Redskins earlier when they were playing against the Niners, and they ended up losing 24-20.
Yeah, and by the way, I heard already that Joe Biden has written a play for the Super Bowl. And they're going to use it. It's an alley-oop. He's calling for an alley-oop under the rim. So it's not a political show. I'm just saying the guy forgets stuff. All right, anyway.
Nixon was really an interesting character when it came to sports. He was really involved.
He was a big sports fan.
And everybody just remembers him for Watergate and being the first president to ever resign in office. But he was a really interesting dude. He was very influential, we'll say, in a lot of circles, and he is one of my favorite characters on Futurama.
Futurama, Bender, all that. So, the Dolphins and Cowboys, since we were just talking about them, are they the two biggest disappointments, AFC and NFC, respectively, as the teams that got bounced in the playoffs?
I would say in the short scope, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
if you look at Miami's schedule, they beat Dallas. I think week 14, week 13, something like that after Thanksgiving.
That was that field goal, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Outside of that game, do you know who their best opponent was that they beat?
The Bills?
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Jeez.
They are the ultimate example, Miami, this year of
the Bills beat them twice.
Beating up on bad teams and getting trounced. Not just beat, but trounced by the good ones. So absolutely on the AFC side, it's Miami. And then for Dallas, it's more of the same. More of what we're used to. And I'll be really, really interested to see if Jerry Jones pulls the plug on everything.
Bill Belichick's sitting out there. He's sitting at home. He's in Atlanta today, by the way. It was right before we went on the air. Bill Belichick was in Atlanta talking to Arthur Blank about the job down there in Atlanta. I don't know if I see him down there in Atlanta. I don't know. There's no quarterback there you go to Dallas, you got a good quarterback in place.
My question with Dallas, though, is Jerry Jones going to bring in a head coach that could potentially upstage him? I think for Jerry Jones specifically as an owner and as a person, I don't know if he's going to bring in such a galvanizing personality where all the headlines are going to be away.
That's why him and Jimmy Johnson didn't get along.
Exactly,
right,
and we've seen this in the past.
Yeah.
And while we also have seen, though, on the other side, multiple times, Jerry Jones praising Bill Belichick. He talked about him in his book that he came out with in 2019.
Oh, really?
He is really interested in Bill Belichick. But again, I just don't know if he's going to bring in that mercurial of a personality to potentially upstage him. I do think Mike McCarthy is gone. He has to.
The fact he still has a job today, what did I say, Tuesday? The fact he's still there, I mean, I know the players like him a lot, but you got to get over that hump, and Dallas is where the spotlight shines the brightest.
The damning number for me, it's the first time ever that a team has won 12 or more games in 3 straight seasons and not won any playoff games in that stretch, ever. Wow. And that alone, I think, is grounds for removal. Dak, I think you have to keep Dak Prescott.
No, I don't think it's Dak. I mean, even though he looked a little lost out there, a little deer in the headlights, you keep Dak Prescott.
There's people calling for him to get out of there, too.
I know. Oh, who's the Trey Lance? Is Trey Lance? You're going to hand the keys to Trey Lance?
Certainly not.
What's that?
I said he's the backup, yeah.
He is the backup. I mean, people forget Trey Lance was the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
He's played in about 6 games in his whole life. Still doesn't know how to take a snap under center. No, I mean, I don't know. Dallas, I mean, look, and Stephen A. Smith, you see him just laughing hysterically. I do too. And there was that shot of him in bed while he pans to the TV. It's like 27-0. He's just like, and he's going to laugh. Stephen A. Smith is polarizing. Either love him or hate him. I used to hate Stephen A. Smith. I kind of like him now. In the last year, my friend Frank Murgy has turned me on Stephen A. Smith.
Somewhat unrelated. Did you see his rant on Jason Whitlock last week?
No, I heard about it. I think,
we talked about it, yeah.
We talked about it, but I didn't watch it.
The best part about that, all I'll say, is that he put out a video earlier that day before all that stuff came out saying, I called my pastor, asked for forgiveness. I told everybody in my life that this was coming and that they would have to either ride with me or leave me. And that was his crusade. And I guess if you're going to go on a crusade, hating Jason Whitlock isn't a bad one. But yeah, as much as I was excited to see Stephen A's reaction, I was also as excited to see the almost weekly video now of Skip Bayless throwing out his Cowboy stuff. How much Cowboy stuff does he have?
Now, I said this yesterday. This is a genius move for the area Targets and Best Buys for TVs, because you see all the memes and all the videos of people smashing their TVs, throwing them out, and the merchandise for the stores. Everyone's gonna have to buy new Dallas stuff next year.
Well, and the trash can lid continuing to close on them in the middle was just poetic justice. I mean, if that's me and I'm that upset where I'm throwing stuff away, that lid is going about 50 feet that way. I'm gonna frisbee that thing after it closes on me once.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a mess in Dallas. They have to get rid of McCarthy. And again, he'll find a job. He does have a ring with Green Bay. But they can't. You can't have your fans go in and see that a fourth year in a row.
No. And I wish Mike McCarthy all the best, because I was friends with his nephews in high school in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Great family.
Wow.
He is a really good coach. It's just you have to have the results, and especially in Dallas where the microscope is on you at all times.
So Jerry, I didn't mention Pittsburgh there. That was Matt on that.
That
one.
was me.
I don't know if that counts. By the way, also if we have a dry erase board for the first time using the word mercurial on the show. So
I've been studying for the SAT.
He's bringing the vocabulary to Sports by the Book 2 days a week, starting today at 3:00 Pacific time. All right. We have one more multiple choice question. It's always good right in the middle of a game when we're having fun. I look up and I see Ryan yawn during my performance here on stage. It's always good. It's always to know Ryan's right there for me. I haven't seen you yawn that big since Dave Damashek was on the show. All right, here we go.
Long night.
Happy birthday to Albert Pujols.
Okay.
Albert Pujols, who turns... Go ahead, and wait, get this wink on. Give me this wink here. Albert Pujols, who turns 44 years old.
Wink.
The reason I wink is a lot of people. This is a quote from when he signed the big deal with the Angels. Albert Pujols is not the age he says, according to a former MLB exec. David Sampson, who served as the Miami Marlins president from 2002 to 2017, said no one in baseball believed Pujols was telling the truth about his age when he signed a 10-year, $240 million contract with the LA Angels after the 2011 season. He was on the Dan Le Batard show. Here is his quote, quote unquote, "There is not one person in baseball, not one executive who believes Albert Pujols is the age that he says he is. The amount of fraud that was going on in the Dominican back in the day, the changing of names, the changing of birthdays, it would blow your mind." So Artie Moreno, pretty savvy owner out there in Anaheim and Los Angeles. I remember when they gave him a 10-year, $240 million deal, people are like, oh, because he wanted to stay a Cardinal his whole life.
Yeah.
Cardinals did kind of lowball him, but perhaps the Cardinals had a real birth certificate, but I don't know.
Well, and Pujols specifically is interesting because it was either his last year or his last 2 years of high school in the U.S.
Okay.
in Southern Florida. Have you seen the picture of him from his senior year of high school?
I think we pulled it up one day. There was some graying in his beard.
It's
if I'm not
literally
mistaken.
the bench warmers. Carlos, I am 12. Here's a $10 bill. He looks just like him.
Yeah, he was. He's not. Again, and I've talked about this. I think last time you were Alejandro Pena pitching for the Pirates at spring training. Found out he was 3 years older, so they gave him 4 birthday cakes or something. Like, here, we missed 3 of these. Yeah,
there's a really good documentary. I don't know what service it's on, but it's called Pelotero, which means ball player in the Dominican Spanish.
Oh, okay.
And it's about when a lot of teams were going after Miguel Sano as a teenager.
Oh, the Pirates
should have had him.
They didn't come up with an extra couple $100,000. Yeah.
Well, you'll see if you watch it that they were the leaders and he was ready to say he had the contract in front of him.
I remember
but
that.
His family was getting extorted, and it was just a bad personal situation for him. So he went with the Twins, and he's been
flamed out.
Somewhat,
but boy, when he hit the ball, it went far.
He's got as much power as anybody. But yeah, Pelotero is really interesting, and it talks a lot about how it was. Even I think this was 2010, 2009 when this was all going on. Even that recently, it was the Wild West in terms of signing Dominican players and verifying identity.
Guys with different names.
Would not surprise me.
Carmona Fausta?
We talked about Fausto Carmona, yeah.
Right, Fausto Carmona. I got his name backwards.
And but it is interesting, and that's baseball's worst kept secret is Albert Pujols in his real age.
All right, well, here's the question. So we don't know what his birth certificate says. So here are your multiple choice. What is Albert Pujols' birth name? Is it Jose Alberto Pujols Alcantara, Alberto Manuel Domingo Pujols, or Juan Pujols Sanchez Alberto?
So working in baseball, working around a lot of Dominican guys, a lot of Latin guys in general, they will have extra family names that they really don't use.
Correct.
So it's not surprising to see these 4 as the option. And a lot of times it's not in the order that you would see in terms of American or English.
That's why I did a good job on the 2 non-real ones.
I'm going to go with...
That's what I'm trying to throw a...
I'm going to guess A.
Damn it, Matt Neverett! On fire, yes. Jose Alberto Pujols Alcantara. Fourth-time, what is it, fourth time? Yeah, he's fourth in all-time home runs. It was nice to see him get those 700 home runs. Look, the guy was a National League Central killer for years, killed our beloved Pirates, but the amount of excitement there was him getting 700 and that last year with the Dodgers. How many did he hit after the All-Star break? It was a ridiculous amount. I mean, he got hot. He got as hot as any hitter, and he got to 703.
He did. My dad was calling that game when he hit number 700. He said it was one of the coolest sporting experiences that he's been around in person, and he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I mean, because you're not going to see a lot of guys hit 700 home runs anymore.
No.
I just think because of longevity, people make too much money. They don't want to stick around.
And the pitching's too good. As much as the emphasis is on hitting and home runs nowadays, the pitching is just so much better than it was back in the day. And
I thought this was amazing. 5th in all-time games played. 3,080 games. I mean, the guy was a rock. He was probably the best hitter, one of the best right-handed hitters in baseball history. I mean, he's just a stud, but happy 44th to Jose Alberto Pujols Alcantara. Yeah, so why didn't he go by Alberto Alcantara?
There's a lot of guys that do that. They'll have their
What did I miss?
Alcantara.
It's
like Sandy.
You know why I'm saying Alcantara? Because Sandy, there's a baseball player,
the pitcher, yeah.
There's a pitcher, he played for the Marlins, Sandy Alcantara. So, whatever. He's Albert Pujols.
I could be wrong, but I believe it's
Alcantara. Yeah, sorry.
Mother's last name and father's last name. I
Usually.
think they do dad first, then mom, but they take both last names.
Yeah.
Like I know Ryan remembers Jorge Ruiz from the Aviators, still a free agent, but he was Cuban. He was a minor league pitcher for the A's who got up and down, but he has like 5 last names that he doesn't use. It's a Latin thing, and it's a baseball thing to kind of shorten it.
Well, I mean, if he kept his original name, he could have been Japa, Japa. Could have been like his nickname. Oh, El Japa.
I like it.
All right. Do we have live comments going on? I didn't open my computer in time. Anyone out there live commenting? What do we got?
We had some during the football conversation. Does Buffalo beat the Ravens if that happens?
Ugh. I don't know.
So
the Ravens are beatable. The Ravens are beatable. They are beatable. They are good. Again, we have to bring up, and everyone will, and I'm sure you'll talk about it on Sports by the Book, Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, not so good. But if he's going to prove it any year, this is the year he has to, because he's not been a good postseason quarterback, and teams usually can scheme for that. So I don't know. The Texans, I mean, D'Amico. I get that wrong every time. Is it Alcantara or Alejandra Ryan? Anyway, D'Amico. Ladies and gentlemen, I concentrate on the comedy more than the names.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what Matt is here for, to make me look good. That's why it's a good combination here. Matt and Frank. I don't know. Houston, I mean, that's a team that could give him a game. I don't know. I like that. That's going to be – look, the NFL playoffs, I mean, Damashek was saying, if you were paying – he was saying how it's the best postseason tournament. I might have to disagree that March Madness might be a little – I got to give it to March Madness.
Agree.
I was going to interrupt him, but he never gave me the chance. But what I would say is the NFL playoffs they're awesome. Yeah, they are. And this year, for some reason, because I think no one really sees I just don't want Baltimore and the Niners. It's just too boring. And it would match the logo, and everyone will say, scripted. But I don't know.
It's scripted.
They're scripted. They're scripted. All right, we're going to take a 2-minute break. We'll be back with Matt and Everett to close out the show with some Matt picks. And maybe we'll talk about Paul McCartney. Maybe we'll do an over-under game with Paul McCartney on something that happened on this day. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Matt and Everett, more after this.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show. Every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, Stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
You're done, Nick! You're done, Nick! You're done!
So that's an Eagles fan. Stay classy, Philadelphia. Throwing popcorn, which, by the way, only cost him $47, that popcorn at any sporting event. $47, and the actual cost to make that, 3 cents. But he threw it on Sirianni, and if you click on that clip or watch that clip, which has been going all over the place, security went after the guy. They probably got him.
Yeah.
So the guy's probably like, oh, I'll never get to go to Raymond James Stadium again. It's not like they're going to ban him from Philly. In Philly, they're going to throw him a parade when Sirianni might go. I mean, Sirianni stays or does he go? I mean, it sounds like he's lost the locker. I don't know.
I mean, that's a really, really tough question because from a strictly win total perspective,
Yeah,
the
it's
Eagles
amazing.
were 10-1 to start the year with a win total of 11.5, and they went under.
Oh my God!
Incredible. If I had an Eagles over ticket,
Oh, I never even thought of that.
I may have already jumped off the pirate ship at Ray J. Have you been there?
I saw the Steelers win the Super Bowl at that field.
Oh wow!
I know.
I
got
just
to
saw a
see-
regular season game against the Saints.
I saw Centennial Holmes catch a ball. I was at the listen to this. I was at the 45-yard line. I got a ticket the night before the game, face value, $800, and Kevin James and Adam Sandler were like on the 20. I had better seats than Adam Sandler and Kevin James,
Wow.
but I was on the 40. So I saw Larry Fitzgerald run right by me. I saw the interception right here, but I couldn't see Holmes catch the ball because it was here.
It was in the corner.
It was right here. So we saw the touchdown go up, and then I had a friend. I was on my BlackBerry, and my friend pinned me. His feet are in. His feet are in. He saw the review, and I turned to the section. His feet are in. Then the ref came out and said his feet are in. So
Wow.
that's a cool stadium. Yeah, I had a good time.
The only time that I was there, I lived probably 40 minutes from there in Bradenton, just south when I was with the Pirates. The only game I went to, we did some tailgating as you do. So I went in there a little lucid, and we were sitting. I had a buddy who had season tickets. We were right under the pirate ship.
Okay.
And the Buccaneers' first drive came down right at us and scored right in front of us. So we're excited. I had a couple of adult beverages.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the cannon goes off right over my head. I had no clue what was happening. I thought that I was dead. I thought I got shot.
Yeah, when they score, they fire a cannon, and it is loud.
They fire it 6 times for a touchdown
each
and
point?
3 times for a field goal. And of course, they scored the touchdown. So it was it was the second one that got me even worse than the first one.
A Florida man was stricken deaf by a cannon going off. His name, Matt Neverett. So anyway, speaking of adult beverages, we bring this up because today, in 1919, Congress enacted the 36th, approved by a 36 state. Anyway, they ratified prohibition. So it didn't go into effect. That's what I'm trying to get at.
What number amendment was that?
I don't know. 36 state. I don't know. It doesn't matter at this point. But prohibition, they approved it. That ratified and rang in prohibition. It wasn't until the following year in 1920. Do you know how long prohibition lasted? I was surprised.
Wasn't it until 1932?
33. It was 13 years. For 13 years, it was illegal to drink in this country.
How did they enforce it?
Watch The Untouchables with Kevin Costner. Great movie. Sean Connery won the Academy Award. They did and they didn't. I mean, there were speakeasies. There were little private clubs, and
Well, drinking was illegal, and Albert Pujols is 44, so it all ties in.
now, speaking of drinking, so we thought this would be fun with Matt Neverett. We wanted to ask you, it's not even a multiple choice question. You created a collage for this, Ryan?
Yeah.
The best drunk athlete parade moments. I always remember Mark Madsen with the Lakers. He was doing his white man dance when the Lakers won. But you've created a collage, and I see Tom Brady throwing the Lombardi, which he threw to another boat. That was a classic moment. Who else do you have on there, Ryan?
So we got Matthew Stafford when the camera woman fell
Yes.
and he paid no attention
He
to her
ran
whatsoever.
the other direction. I was by the way, I was watching that live in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got William Carlson for the Knights this past year.
That's the one.
Yeah, he
you guys played that for me a couple weeks
day
ago.
one.
That's a classic.
He's been
And you
here.
you put him in black and white?
No, that's just the lighting that he was.
Okay. I was like, all right.
He was in a nightclub
How
or
long
something.
ago was that? Yeah.
And then we've got Jason Kelsey, his whole jester costume when the Eagles won the
Swami.
Super Bowl. Yep. And then Patrick Mahomes getting beers from the crowd.
Yeah.
Just downing them
Catching
all.
him and downing him.
And then J.R. Smith when he
Shirtless.
Yeah, shirtless in Cleveland. And then Corey Crawford and Patrick Kane for the Blackhawks. Kane was belligerently drunk, and then Crawford comes on and he effing Chicago.
Yeah. I actually watched the Patrick Kane one last night because I knew you'd probably put something in there about it because it's Chicago. There's a lot of good ones there. A lot of good drunken rants.
There's one that's missing.
Uh-oh.
And it's one that, you and I were upset that they won the title. Alexander Ovechkin.
Oh, yeah.
When the Caps,
Caps
won,
won,
you would have
yeah.
thought that Prohibition had just ended with the way he was drinking. The picture of him in bed with the Stanley Cup days afterwards, just visibly hammered still.
And he
is
didn't stop.
classic.
Yeah,
No.
he didn't stop.
He might still be going, considering how he's been playing this
those
year.
Czechs and Russians and Yugos, they just love to drink and drink and drink and drink. On this day in history, real quick, the last one I had was Paul McCartney was arrested 42 years ago for having marijuana. The over-under was 5, and he had 7.5. He had 7.7. They were going to let him go, but he hit the over. I remember when this happened. He was on Saturday Night Live talking about it. But, yeah, he spent 9 days in jail. 9 days in jail. And he said, I don't want special treatment. He ate with the inmates. He showered with the inmates. And then he was out. But anyway, don't do that. And then happy birthday to Lin-Manuel Miranda, 44 years old. He wrote that highly acclaimed Broadway musical Hamilton, which I believe is about Lance Armstrong and how he cheated and everything. And I've never seen it, but it won a lot. Brian, have you? It's right. It won like a bazillion Tonys.
I've never seen it either.
I am not throwing away my shocks, and that's what it's about because bikes have shocks. I wrote that joke late last night, but I'm not throwing away my shot is the song, but I use shocks. Yeah, Lance Armstrong.
I have no idea.
It's actually about Alexander Hamilton, not Lance it's Greg Hamilton. That's why it was last. That's why we weren't going to do it. All right, we have a couple minutes left. Matt, you're going to be hosting Sports by the Book today and tomorrow. We're very excited to have you as part of the family. As that show expands to 7 days, I don't know if I could handle 7 days. But anyway, what are some picks you have for us tonight? I know you're usually a college hoops guy.
Yeah.
I'm guessing hoops.
I got a couple college hoops
All right,
plays.
let's hear 'em.
Last time I gave you plays as a guest, I was on Purdue. I'm going
Yes.
to fade the Boilermakers tonight. Maybe not to lose the game, but they're laying 9.5 on the road at Indiana, which is a ruckus environment. I think the Hoosiers are able to keep that game within single digits. Maybe not win, but keep it close against Zach Edey and company. And then my wheelhouse, because of the teams and the conferences that I keep an eye on, is the Mountain West.
Sure.
A couple of really interesting games tonight. UNLV on the road at Boise State. But the one I'm looking at, number 661, 662 on the rotation number, Utah State at New Mexico, at the Pit, which is a top 5 environment in college basketball. I'll be there in a couple of weeks with UNLV.
Oh, you're going to be there.
I'll be engineering the game for radio. I'm really excited because I've never been there.
That's one of the places I'd want to go.
And my dad, who did Mountain West basketball forever and ever and ever, says it's his favorite arena in college basketball. So I'm really pumped. I'm fading the Lobos tonight, though.
Oh.
We just saw Utah State beat UNLV, a game that they didn't hold a lead until the final seconds in and ended up winning it on a 5-point play at the buzzer, which that's crazy play, officials, yada, yada, whatever you want to say. Utah State's got the longest active winning streak in the country.
Whoa.
And they do it at all 3 phases. They've got great guard play. They've got really good bigs. They do a phenomenal job in transition. Great Osipor is the name to look out for. Number 1, his first name is Great.
Great?
And it's because he is great.
Oh, my
He's not
God,
good, he's great. So I like the Aggies catching 6 points tonight. And then the other one around the Mountain West, San Jose State at Fresno State.
Okay.
Fresno State just lost to Wyoming, who is in the pits. We're talking about the pit. Wyoming is the pits, the M and Air Force of the Mountain West Conference. San Jose State has a little bit more to play for in this one. So I like both road dogs in the Mountain West tonight, San Jose State and Utah State. Think about the money line as well for both of those.
All right. By the way, the Wyoming Cowgirls, I saw them play a game here. That would be the Wyoming basketball team.
Yeah, they do a great job at the arena. I know Jerry knows all about the arena here, but they do a phenomenal job converting it from rodeo to basketball to anything in between. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You get Disney on Ice eventually once the Thomas and Mack Center goes by the wayside. They can do it. Credit to everybody here at the South Point. Steve Stallworth does a great job.
Well, Jerry does it all. Jerry's the one who does it. That's why he was
all over the place, man.
Play of the year, man. That's why Jerry's the man. All right, so we got let's recap your picks tonight for everybody.
I'm going 3 dogs. The only home dog is going to be Indiana catching 9.5. I've got San Jose State catching 3 in Fresno, and then Utah State looking to extend the nation's longest winning streak in New Mexico.
3 picks from Matt Neverett. Matt Neverett, you might as well stay tuned. In 1 hour, 2 hours, he will be hosting Sports by the Book, which is expanding to 7 days. We really appreciate you guys watching. We love all the live comments. We love you guys subscribing. We're over 1,000. Please share this show on social media. Spread the word about it. We have a blast doing punchlines. Ryan, any final thoughts on today's show?
I just wanted to add Bowling Green University, the Falcons. Their head coach is Todd Simon, who was an assistant here at UNLV, got hired as the SUU head basketball coach in late 2010s. And he was at SUU for 4 years and had 3 20-win seasons. And that program made that program into something, and then took a job at Bowling Green. He is a real deal head coach.
Okay.
That Bowling Green team, I think, is 11-4 now. They can compete to win the MAC.
They're legit.
They're only a 1-point favorite today against Miami of Ohio. So I do like that team. I have been kind of riding them all year.
As they say in Bowling Green, a Ziggy.
What did they say that for?
That's just their rallying cry.
I've been to Bowling Green. I've done shows there. Yeah.
It's flat.
Yeah. It was that's Ohio, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the sound you hear the whole time. Just wind blowing. I remember I almost got blown off the road in Ohio. Driving to Bowling Green, possibly. Like the wind was so strong, almost blew my car off the road.
It's basically Michigan. You're out there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got some picks from Matt Neverett. You want more Matt Neverett? You got it in 2 hours right here on our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you to Drew Dog, and Jerry, Ryan. I'm Frank Nicotero. This is Punchlines Lines, live in Nevada. Every show.